So a lot of business owners come to me and share that they've hired so many executive assistants, but it just has never worked out for them. So when I hear stories like that, I always think, what is the common denominator out of all of those executive assistant hires? And let me tell you, this might not sound good to you, but the truth is, the common denominator is you. It might be that you just don't know how to give tasks, how to manage an executive assistant, and how to also be a good boss to them. Because if you've tried this for a while, if you've hired from different countries, if you've tried the part-time and the full-time, giving benefits and not, there might be some things that you're not seeing. So in this video, I will try to make it simple for you, and I will share with you my life as a CEO and how I work with my executive assistants. In this video, I will mostly share a lot of principles. They're not really super tactical. They're more strategic, and they're more kind of a mindset change in order to really assist you on how you should think about working with an executive assistant. And let me tell you, after this video, you will learn a lot on maybe what you did wrong in the past, and you can approach this problem or this opportunity, I guess, of hiring a really good executive assistant in a fresh new light. And so, of course, if you don't want to do that all by yourself, because hiring a really good executive assistant typically takes my whole HR team 60 to 80 hours of research, vetting, announcement, interviewing, and testing. If you don't want to do that all on your own, you can definitely hit us up. Visit our website at proximityoutsourcing.com, book a call, and one of our team members will talk to you, get to know your needs, and we'll get you set up with a really amazing executive assistant for under 15 bucks an hour. And you can start at 10 hours a week. If you feel like that will be super beneficial for you, definitely head over to our website and book yourself a call. So let me tell you about the 5 principles of how I work with my executive assistant as a super busy CEO. Actually, now I'm not super busy. That's why I have time to create these YouTube videos and, of course, my podcast. A little shout out, check out my podcast, Rich and Remote. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I talk about a lot of my learnings in building 7-figure businesses and how I was able to really find the needle movers in every part of my journey. But today we're going to talk about how I work with my executive assistants. So number 1, super duper duper important is clarity. So you need to be super clear on the task that you're assigning, super clear on the output, super clear on your expectation. Try to over communicate if you want, especially if your executive assistant is new to you, and also tell them that, hey, this is what I've done in the past. It hasn't worked out. So the more clarity you can give, the better it will be for your executive assistant. I also encourage you to use tools such as Loom to paint a better picture of what you want the tasks to look like, what you want the output to look like, and what your expectations are. Another question that I love answering is, how do I want my day to look like? And so if you describe this to your executive assistant, they have a better understanding on how they can make your life better and how they can make your day more organized, just like what a lot of really good executive assistants think about. Because you know what? They are there to make your life easier. They are there to help you as a CEO, as the founder, as the main vehicle in growing your business. They're there to help you achieve all of those goals in your business by taking off a lot of tasks off your plate and really, really helping you out on a close and like customized level. So the other side of that is, answer this question. If I was your executive assistant and I'm coming to work for you right now, what would my regular day look like? That is also a good question to think about, because you will now be able to describe to your executive assistant what will make you happy and what are your expectations in how they do the job for you. So the thing with communicating in this particular way and answering those questions is that those are the easiest ways that we can really align what your expectations would look like when you and your EA finally work together. Because let me tell you guys, it takes a lot to find a really awesome executive assistant. But sometimes, even if you magically hire these people, you're not very good at onboarding them, you're not very good at communicating or leading them, And that's where I find a lot of people failing. And that's why, when they're failed so much, when they've failed so many times, that's when they come to us for help. And of course, we're able to help them, but I am also able to see where their mistakes lie before they came to us. And so that is what I'm sharing here, because I don't want you to make the same mistake, even if you plan to DIY this or do this hire all by yourself. Number two is get clear on communication. So, how do you communicate? What is your communication style? What kind of learner are you? Are you a visual learner or an auditory learner? And how would you like your executive assistant to use that information? So, another thing is getting clear on communication channels. So, for example, you can say as soon as you're hiring that, we use Slack, and aside from Slack, we also use an instant messaging platform if it's outside the office hours. Of course, there's an expectation that I'm not going to blow your phone up if it's outside the office hours. But if you have an expectation that, sometimes there's an emergency or I have an urgent request, I may try to reach out through a private instant messaging platform. So definitely communicate that. Also communicate the time that you want them to work. Do you want them to work at your time zone? Do you want them to work at a specific time zone? Or are you okay with not having to work at the same time? So you can definitely get clear on that, and having those expectations communicated and also being reachable and being easy to communicate with is a good thing to develop as a boss or a manager that has an executive assistant. So tip number three is, this is especially important during the first 90 days of working with your executive assistant: quick feedback. So give them quick feedback immediately if they're submitting something. Don't wait a few days to give feedback. I would really encourage you to give quick feedback. And of course, tell your EA to also, hey, if I forget about a particular item that you really, really need my feedback on, just harass me, just follow up, and don't stop until I get to it. This is what I tell my team. I always jokingly tell them that, hey, you guys, everyone has the right to harass me. I don't want to be my own company's bottleneck. And of course, on your end, also be generous with your feedback so that you can really coach them on how they can do better next time. This is really how you can improve how they work for you, and how you can also give yourself an easier time in terms of getting your expectations met the next time they submit a task or the next time that they do something for you. They will not improve if you don't give them feedback. And of course, quick is always better, because they are also learning, especially on their first 90 days, and they are learning how to work with you. So giving them quick feedback is easy, but of course, remember to be kind and remember to be generous with your advice as well. Because think about this, you are also invested in their growth. The more that they grow, the better that they work for you. And the more that they grow, the more that their contribution to your company also increases. So you definitely need to be invested in that. And one of the ways that you can do that is if you could coach them and if you can give them really good feedback. So if you don't know how to give feedback, you can easily Google or ChatGPT that, or maybe we'll cover it at another video here on this YouTube channel. So definitely click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the weekly videos that we publish about how to grow your business through outsourcing. The next one is communicating your non-negotiables and your pet peeves. So in my company, we have what we call a client chemistry form, where the client answers a few questions, just less than 8 questions, on what their leadership style looks like, what their management style looks like, what their communication style looks like, what success for them looks like, what are their pet peeves. So some of the pet peeves that I have is, as the owner, as the founder, as like the top boss, I guess, of my company, I hate following people up for their task or for their job. And so if you are, for example, an HR person and you have an assignment to fulfill a monthly workshop, I don't want to be the one asking you, hey, where's our monthly workshop? It's already like the 22nd day of the month. That is one of my pet peeves. And if you're the CSM and if it's your job to follow up a particular client, I don't want to ask you to have to follow up. That is one of my pet peeves. And I communicated this to my team, that if you have a task, write it down, put it on your ClickUp. Don't wait for me to follow you up. The other pet peeve that I have is I always tell them, if the client is wondering, then you are not doing your job well. So if the client reaches out and say, this is for our customer success team. If the client says, hey, I'm wondering what's happening to my project, I'm wondering what's happening to my hire, if they are saying that, you're already failing at your job. You should be ahead of them. You should be communicating. You should not let them wander. Okay. So I also communicate that every person has a different set of pet peeves, and this is tied to your communication, your leadership, and your management style. So the better that you can communicate that to your executive assistant, the better that they can work for you, and they can also contribute to your company and to your life and to your peace in a better way as well. And honestly, that's the most important thing. And lastly, number 5, and I love this part and I really want to emphasize this, is appreciate them and emphasize that your feedbacks are a way for you to coach them. So you have to really mention those words, because appreciation and coaching are positive words. And when someone says, hey, I'm coaching you, that is something positive. And honestly, I'm grateful for that person, because that is evidence that they want me to be better, that I am learning something, I am downloading something new. I'm not just repeating what I already know, but I'm learning something new, and I'm receiving input from someone if they're coaching me. So if you make it clear to me that you're giving me feedback because you're coaching me, it also gives me the idea that this person is invested in me, because they're taking time out of their day to help me how to make things better, to coach me up to be a better executive assistant. And of course, for every good thing that they do not miss out on appreciation. I'm not saying that every single task you have to like super appreciate them and super, like give them kudos. Of course, thank you goes a long way, appreciating their work. And even if they do something wrong, like appreciating the effort, that really goes a long way. So the past principles that I've shared is more on how to work with them. And this is how to really also make sure that you're treating them correctly. So that is really important for them to remember, that they are appreciated, and that if they are given feedback, that is so they can improve, and that is because you're taking that opportunity to coach them so that they can be better and they can improve themselves. So those are my top 5 principles on how I work with my executive assistant. You can take those principles and learn from it. And if you already have an executive assistant, I guarantee you'll have a better time working with them. They'll have a better time working with you, and you'll definitely experience a change on how they deliver their output and how they work for you as well. If you are about to hire an executive assistant, then you can interview and look for these traits, and or you can use some of that information to write and create a really good job description. And of course, if you don't want to do it all on your own, because honestly, it might take you up to 80 hours of interviewing, vetting, testing these people, then definitely give us a call or visit our website, proximityoutsourcing.com. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe in this YouTube channel so that every week you get to learn about ways to grow your online business through outsourcing. Bye bye.